It all began with a phone call that I will never forget. I was sitting in my living room, sipping a cup of tea, enjoying a rare moment of calm when the phone rang. Seeing my son's name on the screen, I expected the usual: a quick hello, a bit of small talk, maybe a brief chat about his day. But this call was anything but ordinary. From the very first words, his tone was full of disbelief, almost bordering on panic. "Impossible," he said. And I could hear the astonishment in his voice before he even finished his sentence. "She's on my flight, not at home." I froze, my mind racing to make sense of what he was saying. Who was on his flight? What could he possibly mean? The urgency and incredulity in his voice immediately set the scene for a story far from ordinary. I could picture him sitting in the cockpit, headset on, trying to maintain professionalism while processing this astonishing coincidence. The way he spoke made it clear that this was something completely unexpected, something that had thrown even a seasoned pilot like him for a loop. As he explained, I could feel the suspense building. Every word seemed charged with a mixture of awe and disbelief. I imagined the control room, the hum of the aircraft engines, the world bustling below, and my son realizing that a passenger on his flight was someone familiar, someone he would never have expected to encounter in the sky rather than at home. His voice trembled slightly, caught between the need to stay composed and the sheer shock of the moment. It was as if the universe had played a small, astonishing trick, placing a familiar face in a place so unlikely it seemed almost impossible. That single phone call transformed an ordinary day into something extraordinary, immediately drawing me into the story and making me lean forward in anticipation, wanting to know exactly who it was, how it happened, and what would come next. It was a moment of pure human connection, of surprise and coincidence that set the tone for a story that was part awe, part humor, and entirely unforgettable. Before I could even begin to process the astonishing news of that phone call, I realized it was a perfect moment to reflect on the person on the other end of the line, my son. For those who don't know him, he isn't just any pilot. He is someone whose dedication, discipline, and passion for flying have been evident from the very beginning. From the first time he set foot in a small flight simulator as a teenager, I could see the spark in his eyes, the fascination with the skies, the machines, and the invisible threads that connect distant places. It wasn't just a hobby for him, it was a calling. His path to becoming a professional pilot was neither short nor easy. It required years of rigorous training, countless hours of study, and an unwavering commitment to excellence. He spent nights memorizing flight procedures, learning the intricacies of navigation, and mastering the science of aerodynamics. He faced challenges and setbacks, from grueling exams to the physical and mental demands of long hours in the air. Yet, he never wavered. His determination and resilience were remarkable, and I watched with pride as he steadily climbed the ranks, moving from small regional flights to piloting large commercial jets across continents. But beyond the technical skills and professional accomplishments, what stands out most about my son is his genuine love for flying. To him, piloting is not just a job, it's an experience, a responsibility, and a joy. He loves the quiet moments above the clouds, the feeling of lifting off the ground, and the connection he feels to the world from thousands of feet in the air. He often describes flying as a kind of freedom, a way to see life from a broader perspective. That passion and enthusiasm translate into how he interacts with others, always calm, precise, and focused, yet never losing the human touch that makes him relatable and caring. So when I heard the incredulous tone in his voice that day, it wasn't just shock. It was the surprise of someone who knows every routine, every procedure, and every detail of flying, suddenly confronted with something extraordinary and utterly unexpected. Knowing who he is, his dedication, his journey, and his passion makes the story even more compelling, reminding us that even the most disciplined, prepared, and capable people can be astonished by life's little surprises. The heart of the story, of course, lies in the sheer surprise that sparked my son's incredulous phone call. As he explained it to me, the situation seemed almost unbelievable. so much so that I could feel the astonishment in his voice even over the phone. There he was, hundreds of miles above the ground, surrounded by the familiar hum of the aircraft and the focused energy of the cockpit, when he looked out and noticed a passenger on his flight who, under normal circumstances, should have been sitting safely at home, doing something completely ordinary. The impossibility of the situation made it feel like something out of a movie, yet it was happening in real life. I could almost picture the moment as he mentally tried to piece it together. How could she be here, he must have thought. Was it a coincidence, a scheduling mistake, or some strange twist of fate? His mind, trained to assess risks, calculate probabilities, and manage countless variables in the air, suddenly had to grapple with something entirely human and unpredictable. It wasn't just the surprise itself, it was the clash between his world of strict schedules and regulations and the unpredictable chaos of life's little coincidences. What made it even more astonishing was that the passenger in question wasn't a stranger. It was someone familiar, someone he would never expect to encounter in a place designed for strangers and strict protocols, rather than personal encounters. This wasn't just a mix-up in names or flights, it was a meeting of two worlds, a collision of the personal and the professional in a way that felt almost miraculous. And yet, for all the shock and disbelief, there was an element of humor in the situation. Life, it seemed, had a way of reminding even the most experienced pilots that no matter how much you plan or prepare, surprises can and do happen. This moment of surprise is what makes the story so compelling. It isn't just about a flight or a phone call. It's about life's unpredictability, the small twists of fate that make us stop, pause, and marvel. It's about the way the ordinary suddenly becomes extraordinary, forcing us to reconsider our assumptions and pay attention to the remarkable coincidences that can appear at any moment. That mix-up, the impossible, unexpected surprise, is what transforms an everyday flight into a story worth telling. A story that connects the thrill of the skies with the humor and wonder of life on the ground. As I listened to my son's voice, still tinged with disbelief, my own reaction was a mix of astonishment, curiosity, and an almost uncontrollable amusement. At first, I couldn't quite process what he was saying. My mind raced through the possibilities. How could this happen? What did he mean by, "she's on my flight"? I could almost feel myself gripping the edge of my chair, leaning forward as if physical proximity might somehow help me make sense of the impossibility he described. It was one of those moments where time seems to slow and every word carries weight, each syllable demanding that you stop and pay attention. Then came the humor of it. I found myself chuckling despite the initial shock, imagining my son, a professional pilot trained to manage every emergency and detail with precision, suddenly frozen by something completely outside of protocol. Here he was, thousands of feet above the ground, cockpit instruments humming, navigating a plane full of passengers, and yet he had encountered something that no amount of experience could have prepared him for. A familiar face in the most unexpected of places. I could hear it in his voice, the mixture of surprise, disbelief, and the tiniest hint of exasperation, and it made the situation both extraordinary and endearingly human. But my reaction wasn't just amusement. There was awe, too. It's one thing to read about coincidences or hear stories of life's strange twists, and it's another to experience them so vividly in real time. I marveled at the improbability of the situation, at the way life had orchestrated this meeting, and at the unique perspective my son had of it from his high vantage point in the sky. I felt a surge of connection to him, not just as my child, but as someone navigating life's surprises with professionalism, grace, and a sense of humor. In that moment, I also realized how fleeting and precious such experiences are. Life has a way of surprising us, reminding us that no matter how routine or controlled our days might seem, the unexpected can appear at any moment. And when it does, our reactions, whether shock, laughter, amazement, or joy, become part of the story, shaping how we remember and share these moments with others. My reaction then was a blend of all these emotions: shock at the impossibility, delight at the coincidence, and admiration for my son's ability to navigate both the skies and life's little surprises. One of the most striking aspects of that phone call was how it highlighted the unexpected ways in which family and profession can intersect. My son, who spends most of his life in a world governed by schedules, regulations, and meticulously planned flights, found himself confronting a situation completely outside the boundaries of routine. Yet in that extraordinary moment, the personal and professional collided in a way that was both surprising and deeply human. It reminded me that no matter how disciplined or structured our work may be, life has a way of weaving personal connections into even the most professional spaces. For my son, being a pilot is not just a career, it is a responsibility, a calling, and a way of life. He spends hours navigating complex systems, ensuring the safety and comfort of hundreds of strangers, and maintaining calm under pressure. Yet even in this highly controlled environment, the appearance of someone familiar, a family connection, or someone he knows, suddenly transformed the moment from routine to remarkable. The juxtaposition of his professional composure with his genuine personal surprise created a scenario both amusing and touching, showing that no matter how skilled or experienced we become, our humanity cannot be boxed into our professions. This intersection also serves as a reminder of the bonds that tie us to our families. Even when separated by miles, by responsibilities, or by the sky itself, family connections have a way of resurfacing in the most unexpected places. My son's disbelief wasn't just about the coincidence of seeing someone he knew on a flight. It was about recognizing a familiar presence in an environment where such surprises are rare. It reminded me, as a parent, of the subtle ways our loved ones remain intertwined with our daily lives, regardless of distance or circumstance. Moreover, this story illustrates that work and family are not always separate spheres. They often inform and enrich each other. A pilot's training may prepare him for emergencies, turbulence, and technical challenges, but it cannot prepare him for the serendipitous surprises life throws our way. And it is precisely in these moments, when the personal unexpectedly appears in the professional, that stories gain their depth, humor, and humanity. That brief intersection of worlds transformed an ordinary flight into an unforgettable family moment, a story of connection, surprise, and the extraordinary in the everyday. When most people think of aviation, they imagine precision, schedules, technology, and strict regulations. They think of pilots as professionals who navigate complex machinery and make decisions that ensure the safety of everyone on board. While that is absolutely true, there is a profoundly human element to flying that often goes unnoticed. My son, like many pilots, embodies both the technical mastery of his profession and the deeply personal human experiences that come with it. That phone call revealed this human side in a way that was impossible to ignore. Despite the cockpit's cold, calculated environment filled with instruments, indicators, and checklists, my son was experiencing something purely emotional: surprise, disbelief, and even delight. These are emotions that no manual or training could ever fully prepare someone for. It reminded me that behind the uniform and precise professional demeanor, there is a person who notices, reacts, and feels deeply, even while thousands of feet above the ground. Pilots deal with countless variables every day: weather changes, air traffic, technical systems, and the responsibility for hundreds of lives. Yet the human element, the ability to respond to the unexpected with empathy, humor, and understanding,
is equally critical. The moment my son realized that someone familiar was on his flight was a perfect example. It wasn't about the technical side of aviation or his training. It was about the human reaction to a coincidence so improbable it felt almost magical. This moment, fleeting as it was, demonstrated that pilots are not just operators of machines. They are people with hearts, memories, and personal connections. It also underscores the unique perspective pilots have on life. From their vantage point in the sky, they witness the vastness of the world below, the beauty of landscapes, cities, and oceans, and yet it is the unexpected human connections that can leave the most lasting impression. A passenger's smile, a familiar face in the crowd, a shared moment of recognition. All of these bring warmth and meaning to what might otherwise be a routine flight. In the end, aviation is not just about control or precision. It is also about humanity. The best pilots, like my son, combine skill with sensitivity, professionalism with heart. And it is this human element, the ability to feel, react, and connect even in the most structured and high-pressure environment that turns ordinary flights into unforgettable stories. That phone call was a perfect reminder that flying, while technical, is also deeply human. And it is those human moments that make life in the skies so extraordinary.
One of the most striking aspects of my son's phone call was the lesson it quietly offered about chance and coincidence. Life has a way of surprising us, placing us in situations that seem impossible, improbable, or even serendipitous. In that moment, as my son described seeing someone familiar on his flight, I realized that coincidence is not just a word. It is a reminder that the world operates on patterns we often cannot predict, and yet these patterns can create moments of wonder and astonishment. We tend to plan, prepare, and organize every aspect of our lives, believing that careful decisions and structured routines will shield us from chaos. Pilots, of all people, are trained to anticipate every scenario, to control variables, and to maintain precision in the face of uncertainty. And yet, no amount of preparation can prevent the unexpected. My son's encounter was a perfect illustration of this truth. Despite schedules, procedures, and protocols, life inserted a surprising twist that could not have been foreseen. The lesson was clear. Sometimes life's coincidences arrive uninvited, yet they carry meaning and excitement that rigid planning cannot create. There is also a deeper message about awareness and presence. Chance encounters like this remind us to notice the small, seemingly insignificant moments, because they can become extraordinary. Had my son been distracted or preoccupied, he might have missed the recognition entirely. But by being present, by paying attention even amidst his professional responsibilities, he experienced a moment of amazement, a story worth sharing, a memory that would last a lifetime. These coincidences encourage us to embrace the unexpected, to find joy in unpredictability, and to appreciate the mysterious ways in which life connects people and places. Moreover, coincidences like this reveal something about the interconnectedness of our lives. The person on my son's flight and the timing of that flight were not orchestrated, yet the encounter felt meaningful. It was a reminder that while we may often feel isolated or controlled by schedules and routines, our lives are woven into a larger tapestry of chance events and intersections. These moments teach humility and wonder. They remind us that life cannot be fully controlled, predicted, or understood. And that is precisely what makes it remarkable. Ultimately, my son's impossible flight was not just an amusing story. It was a lesson in openness, presence, and the extraordinary nature of life's coincidences that make life truly unforgettable. One of the aspects of this story that stands out is how essential communication is, especially when facing unexpected situations. In aviation, pilots are trained to handle emergencies with calm, precise communication, both within the cockpit crew and with air traffic control. But what my son experienced was not a technical emergency. It was a human one. The shock of seeing someone familiar on his flight required a different kind of communication, one that was urgent, incredulous, and deeply personal. His call to me perfectly illustrates how vital clear, timely communication is, especially when the crisis is entirely emotional rather than operational. In moments of surprise, our instinct often drives us to reach out to someone we trust, to share the experience and seek perspective. My son's phone call was not about solving a problem. It was about processing the impossibility of the moment and sharing it with someone who would understand the significance. It reminded me that communication is not always about information or action. It is also about connection. Sharing our reactions, our astonishment, and even our confusion with others helps us navigate unexpected events, grounding us in reality while also creating bonds of empathy and understanding. From a professional standpoint, this story also highlights the transferable skills of communication. Pilots must articulate clearly, react swiftly, and convey important information accurately under pressure. These same skills, clarity, honesty, and timeliness, apply equally well in personal moments of surprise. My son's ability to communicate his shock and confusion effectively allowed me to feel part of the moment, to experience his astonishment as vividly as if I were there with him. It was a reminder that good communication bridges distances, whether physical, emotional, or situational. Moreover, the story underscores the importance of composure and thoughtfulness in our responses. Even in a highly unexpected scenario, my son was able to convey his feelings without panic, balancing professionalism with authenticity. This is a critical lesson for all of us. Whether in work, family, or daily life, how we communicate during surprises shapes not only the outcome of the situation, but also the memories we carry forward. Ultimately, the call was more than just a conversation. It was a testament to the power of communication in humanizing extraordinary moments. It connected family, shared astonishment, and turned a fleeting, improbable event into a story we could relive, laugh about, and learn from together. In both emergencies and surprises, speaking, listening, and connecting with others remains one of the most vital tools we have. One of the most delightful aspects of the story is the humor woven into what, at first glance, might have seemed like a moment of sheer disbelief. Humor, after all, is one of the most powerful ways we connect with others and make sense of life's surprises. In this case, the situation was absurdly funny. The idea that someone could be in a completely unexpected place, thousands of feet in the air, while everything about normal life would have placed them at home, unaware of the coincidence. My son's incredulous exclamation, "Impossible! She's on my flight, not at home," captures that exact blend of shock and comedic timing. It is a moment so relatable that anyone who hears the story can immediately imagine the scene, smile, and even laugh. Storytelling is what transforms this humorous moment into a memory that lasts. By framing the experience with vivid details, the cockpit, the hum of the engines, the precision of flight procedures, contrasted with the impossibility of the encounter, the humor becomes richer and more engaging. People love stories that surprise them, that combine everyday life with the extraordinary, and that include a dash of irony or absurdity. The story isn't just about a flight or a phone call, it's about life's little twists that are simultaneously astonishing and hilarious. Humor also allows us to reflect on life without taking it too seriously. In a high-stakes environment like aviation, professionals are trained for focus, discipline, and responsibility. Yet this unexpected event shows that even in the most structured, serious settings, there is room for laughter. The humor is a gentle reminder that life doesn't always follow the rules, and sometimes the best response to the impossible is to laugh, share, and enjoy the irony of the moment. Storytelling and humor work hand in hand to make the experience memorable. By recounting the details, emphasizing the surprise, and highlighting the absurdity, the audience can experience the story as if they were on the flight themselves, or at least on the other end of the phone call. It creates connection, empathy, and a shared sense of joy. The humor turns a brief, improbable encounter into a narrative that resonates, entertains, and even inspires reflection. In the end, this story reminds us that laughter is an essential lens through which we can view life's surprises. It teaches us to embrace the unexpected with a smile and to appreciate that the most memorable moments are often those that make us laugh while leaving us in awe of life's small miracles. As I reflect on that remarkable phone call, I realize that the true power of the story lies not just in the surprise itself, but in the deeper insights it offers about life, family, and the unexpected moments that shape our experiences. That brief exchange with my son, filled with disbelief, humor, and astonishment, reminds us that life is rarely as predictable as we might hope. No matter how carefully we plan, how disciplined we are, or how professional our approach to daily challenges may be, the world has a way of surprising us in the most extraordinary ways. One of the most important lessons is the value of presence. My son's reaction to the impossible moment, the recognition of someone familiar on a flight, demonstrates that being fully aware and engaged allows us to experience life's surprises more vividly. Had he been distracted or preoccupied, the moment might have passed unnoticed, a missed opportunity for connection and reflection. Life's extraordinary coincidences often appear in the spaces between routine tasks, reminding us to remain attentive, open, and ready to notice the remarkable in the ordinary. This story also emphasizes the importance of family and human connection. Even when separated by distance, schedules, or responsibilities, the bonds we share with loved ones continue to influence our lives in subtle but profound ways. The phone call was not merely an exchange of information, it was a moment of shared astonishment, laughter, and reflection. It reinforced the idea that family and relationships are deeply intertwined with every aspect of our lives, and that even the most unexpected experiences can bring us closer together. Finally, the story invites us to embrace life's unpredictability with a sense of wonder and humor. Life does not always follow the paths we anticipate, and the moments that catch us off guard are often the ones we remember most vividly. These experiences teach humility, patience, and appreciation, reminding us that the world is larger, more interconnected, and more magical than our routines might suggest. In conclusion, that single phone call, filled with disbelief, humor, and the improbable surprise of a familiar face in an unexpected place, offers a profound takeaway. Life's most memorable moments often arise from coincidence, chance, and the unexpected intersections of our personal and professional worlds. By staying present, embracing unpredictability, and cherishing our connections, we transform ordinary experiences into extraordinary stories, leaving us both humbled and delighted by the magic of everyday life.
Wow, what a story, right? If this moment surprised and warmed your heart as much as it did mine, don't forget to hit that like button. It helps more people enjoy this story too. And if you love hearing stories that make you laugh, think, and marvel at life's little surprises, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Also, drop a comment below. What's the most unexpected coincidence that's ever happened in your life? I'd love to hear your stories. Let's celebrate life's little surprises, because sometimes the most ordinary moments turn out to be the most extraordinary.